Welcome to the Paramount Veterans Network Next Coffee with Vet session. I'm your guest host, Montel, and today's guest is Maurice P. Kerry, whom you may know as Randy Parker on CBS's new soap opera, Beyond the Gates. In addition to acting, Maurice is a Marine Corps veteran, combat veteran, rapper, single father, and motivator who turned trauma into triumph. Maurice lived through homelessness, battled PTSD, and still came out swinging and on top, with purpose, passion, and a whole lot of grit. Maurice isn't just telling us his story, he's using it to lift up others, especially veterans who may be walking through their own battles right now. Grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready for a conversation about resilience, reinvention, and the power of never giving up. Maurice, my friend, thank you so much for being a part of our show today, man.
Thank you for having me, Montel.
Absolutely, sir. Look, you joined the Marine Corps like I did, and what did that chapter in your life teach you about yourself?
It taught me that I can. Simply plain that I can do it. There's, coming from where I come from, there are a lot of negative things that are taught or shown or given to young black men, and I fought so hard to be a stereotype when I was a kid. But there was a part of me saying, I really want to be different. I want to try something different. I want to be better. And I found myself going down a dark path, and I adjusted before I landed in that path. A lot of people don't get to that point where they make that decision. They just keep going on that path. But I was like, no, I don't want that for me.
Gotcha. And I mean, I did the same. I joined after graduating from high school, partly because I really had messed up a plan that I thought was going to work for me. Mm-hmm. Standing there like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I went to Paris Island, right, my friend?
Real Marines.
Real deal Marines. Don't get upset with us, okay?
Hollywood.
We're just saying. But you served during Operation Iraqi Freedom too.
I did.
Those experiences in combat, man, I mean, how would you describe the pressure that put on you and your human spirit?
It's war. I mean, it's combat. It's a daily struggle, and the one thing we would always say is don't become complacent. So, basically saying don't become comfortable. Don't get comfortable. We may have downtime. The bullets may not be flying. The bombs may not be falling right now, but don't get comfortable. And after, a prolonged amount of time, that begins to wear on you. But you have to stay vigilant. You have to stay strong.
You talked about the fact that you suffered from PTSD. Mm-hmm. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, just to tell us, like, maybe what was there a single incident that caused you to continue to have PTSD after you left the service, or was it multiple incidents that took place?
For me, it was multiple. It was a combination of things. The fact that now, I won't sit with my back, to a door.
Hypervigilant,
hyper aware. I'm actually, and it's going to sound strange, I'm actually thankful for those two things. It almost seems like, I feel like you should be that way, just aware of what's going on around you, the people around you, and the situations that you're in. The downside, so to speak, is it makes it a little bit more difficult to form relationships. But I work at it. Yeah, I have to. I'm a daddy.
Gotcha. But I mean, is there one incident that you look back at and can describe and make us feel a little bit about?
I'm gonna say the incident itself never came, but that was part of the reason why the incident. So we were talking before, and I never had a problem with firefights. With my enemy has a weapon, I have a weapon, and we're going back and forth. Never had a problem. I can handle that because I can see you, you can see me. What really drained on me the most were convoys, and I think anybody who's been in a war environment understands that. With a convoy driving on roads, you never know. It is the anxiety of knowing that there could be a bomb, IED anywhere in the road at any time.
Grenade somewhere.
Anywhere. Yes. And so even to this day, like right now, I just got goosebumps just thinking about the fact that, like, that is what really wore on me. And so even now, I'm always aware of things, and I'm always, checking and making sure that the people around me are safe. Even when I left the Marine Corps, I went into protector fields, EMT, firefighter, security forces, And
that transition for you was tough, was it not? I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. That's probably the toughest part of service for a lot of our service members is when they get out. Transitioning back, understanding that, part of a society that says please and thank you, rather than yelling orders.
Now.
Do this, do this, do this, do this.
Knife hand.
Always on the edge. I mean, how tough was it for you?
For me, it was difficult because I was very much used to the regiment. You're up at 5, sometimes 4. Everything you were told what to do, how to do, when to do, and you were efficient with those things. One of the difficulties that I fell into was the fact that I was homeless for a year.
And talk about that for a second. I mean, did that just, I don't want to say did it creep up on you, but I mean, how all of a sudden you go from being this very successful, decorated Marine, then you went and worked as a civilian contractor for a little while before you actually transitioned back to the States, right?
No. So this is how. I did this civilian contractor. This was years later.
Okay.
Years later. But when I got out of the Marine Corps, it was 2005, and then literally when I got out of the gates, I had nowhere to go. Granted, I was in San Diego, California. I could have went home to my mom, and lived there, but I was 24. At the time, I was a grown man. I'm not running home to my mother. And luckily, a fellow Marine, he was off in Iraq, and he let me borrow his car. He had no idea for an entire year while he was there, I was living in his car. Every now and then I would have, somebody would give me a couch to sleep on here and there. But the gist of it is I was in my friend's car for a year until I kind of got myself together. I started working to get myself together.
Was there a wake-up call? What literally made you say, I'm not giving up, I'm not going to stop, I got to get this done?
So there was an incident. I was sleeping on someone's floor, and I was trying to go to college as well as work a job, trying to get myself together. And one day I woke up, and the young lady was having a party, and one of her friends had gotten really drunk. Her lady friends had gotten really drunk, and she pulled a gun on me. I was asleep on the floor in the corner in the living room. There was no furniture, just a big old 6-foot guy curled up in the corner. And I wake up and there's a gun in my face, and I was asleep, so I didn't do anything to anybody. She was just drunk, and she was playing around with the gun, and I didn't flinch. I wasn't upset. I was just aware. It's time to go. All right, I need to figure this out. I need to get out of here because they think this is funny. Now, one of two things could happen. This young woman could pull the trigger, or I could jump up and react. And that wouldn't go well for anyone. So I need to leave the situation because I could get hurt.
And then, did that trigger the need to go? Because then you were a rapper for a while, right?
Yeah, so in 2004, when I was in Iraq, I started rapping, and I met up with a group named Southern Noise when I got back from Iraq. And we would tour around San Diego, California doing music. They actually did a concert in 2005 called Rockin' the Core. And there was Destiny's Child there. We got a chance to meet Destiny's Child. We were on stage with Ja Rule, Kiss. There's DVDs. I don't know if people still use DVDs, but there's a DVD out there, and you'll see young me in the DVD. But that also helped with a lot of the anger, because I was also, when I was in the Marine Corps, I was married. And the classic story happened to me. And so I had a lot of anger and a lot of resentment. And part of the reason why I did leave the Marine Corps was because I resented the way that they handled my situation, because the person that my wife at the time was involved with was a fellow Marine, and they didn't have my back.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So you were rapping while you were on active duty. Then you get out.
I get out.
Experience this homelessness. Get a wake-up call. I'm either going to die by mistake or something crazy is going to happen. When did you get the bug to act? When did you get the bug to say, storytelling was part of your bug that you had? You got bit by that bug.
Right.
Telling stories through rapping, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And then you started deciding, I'm going to be an actor.
So, 2006, and there's proof. Veronica Mars. I was trying to make money, you know, so I was doing background work. So there's an episode of Veronica Mars. You can see me clearly in the episode. And I didn't realize at that moment that a seed was planted, and a seed that took about 12 more years to grow. Because in that time frame, I remarried, had kids. But in 2018, a friend of mine, this is after I've come back from, I've also done contracting. I did contracting in Kuwait for about 6 years. And a friend of mine, a fellow contractor, he showed me, his name is Dexter Emery. Hi, Dexter. And I tell him all the time, I say, man, the reason why I'm here, the reason why I'm literally here is because he said the right thing to the right person at the right time. He was showing me a picture of him in the Born Identity or the Born Supremacy or some stuff that he did. And I was like, oh, how do you do that? And he was like, well, this is what you do. Mm-hmm. And he actually put me in my first indie film, and it just grew from there. Now he's going back to, you know, his regular 9 to 5, and he goes, man, I'm so proud of you. You kept going. I'm like, don't quit, man. Grit. Keep going.
Absolutely. I love that saying, don't quit, grit. Where did that come from?
That Top of the Dome. I was a rapper.
Sure. Gotcha.
So,
yeah, now you went on to, you're not going on to,
mm-hmm.
but part of your core was to help others.
Absolutely.
So you kind of become a motivational speaker, right?
Absolutely.
Speaking all over the country. What do you say, especially to veterans who think that, you know, I got to redefine myself after I get out and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that. What do you say to them?
One thing that the military, I only served in one branch. You served in two. I've only served in one branch. One thing I believe that they all have in common is they teach us how to figure it out.
Yes.
They teach us how to adapt and overcome. So can't is not necessarily in your, shouldn't be in your vocabulary. Hard is not impossible. There are things in life that will be difficult. Difficult ain't impossible. It's not that it does not equate to impossible.
Right.
So if you've seen other people in life do these things, if you've seen it happen, then you know you can do it. So just question, why can't I? That's literally what I did.
And figure out the tools you need to get it done.
Because the path has been laid out numerous times. Pick one, follow it.
You know, again, we touched on it just for a second, but you know, you've been very open about your struggles with PTSD. And, you know, thinking back at it now, looking at yourself today as the self you were, say, 10 years ago when you were struggling a little bit more with it. What was the light bulb that went off to help you understand, okay, this is a part of me, but I'm not going to let this hold me back?
You know, they say becoming a father changes you. I'm a full-time single father. My daughter just turned 16. I've been raising my daughter on my own for 15 years. And that little girl did not ask to be brought into a world that her parents couldn't get along.
Right.
So me being a better person, regardless of whatever mental health issues or mental health issues that I have, that's not for her to have to navigate. That's not for her. So I had to figure out how to find that balance because that little girl needed me. She needs her daddy because I'm all she's got. So yes, got PTSD, but it's not gonna, it won't lead my life. It won't inform what I do because there's a person out there that needs me.
Is that the legacy you want to be able to leave behind her, letting her know that no matter how difficult it is, we can overcome as long as we have the tools
Absolutely.
and the resilience to do so?
Absolutely. I laugh sometimes because, again, like I said, I raised her. So I tell her, you were blessed and cursed to be raised by a Marine. You know, because I'm not gonna coddle you. I'm gonna tell you you can do it. I'm gonna believe it before you do.
You know, there are so many people out there who are watching this right now. They're going, well, come on, Iraq, war, 14 years ago. Why are you still bothered right now? What the heck is going on? I mean, explain to people who never put on a uniform how impactful those years were for you and how they've literally been etched in your soul. So as we navigate life, I think veterans navigate life, you know, I'm sorry, with a 100-pound sack on their back. Whether they took the backpack off or not, that sack is still there. The pressure's still there. The memory's still there. The late nights by yourself, still there. Explain to people how, for some of us, this is a very good explanation of why some of us do fall into pitfalls. We fall behind. We step out of line. I mean, explain to people why they need to, number one, recognize that our veterans, some of us still do need help, even though it seems like it's 15 years ago, we still need help. Explain to them.
There is a comfort in our world that we benefit from, because there are men and women out there who have seen things, done things that most people can't even imagine. There are people who have willingly given their lives, or watched people willingly give their life to protect them in order to protect the people watching, the people, you know, online. And there's a level of appreciation, because we all know a vet. Everybody here knows a vet. And there's a level of appreciation in just a simple thank you. Sometimes you don't have to do a lot. Sometimes you don't, for veterans, you don't necessarily need a whole song and dance. You don't need the big parade. Sometimes, hey, I'm here because you fought for me.
You know, loyalty and being really faithful is one of the tenets, or a couple of the tenets that you learn being a Marine. This also plays into your character, Randy, right?
Absolutely. Randy has a hard job. He has to be loyal to his friend that he grew up with from childhood, as well as being loyal to his boss, you know, the local casino owner / gangster, Joy Armstrong, played by John Lindstrom. And the difficulty in that is finding that balance between, you know, being a guy, you know, a friend with a heart of gold, but yet not ending up on the wrong side of Joy, you know, and that gives the character depth and agency. So I really enjoy playing that.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I know, you know, I'm an ambassador to Paramount VetNet, and you are also, right? Helping them to, you know, maintain some sort of a dialogue between our veterans and the veterans that are employed at Paramount Network. How important is it, do you think, for network television and even some of the streaming services to really start telling our stories and embracing the stories that we have?
Well, it's definitely important, because I think the best people to tell those stories are the people who have actually lived those stories, to even advise and maybe some of the scripts, some of the character, you know, creations and things like that. My younger brother, he's actually 82nd Airborne. He works on Beyond the Gates as a grip on the show.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. I get to see my little brother every day. Sure. Hey, AJ. And so it's wonderful, because it gives an opportunity for those people who don't put it in the forefront of their minds and don't think about what veterans have done, what they can do, what they're available. They don't just look at them as, you know, oh, this, you know, PTSD. They don't look at them, they've lost them, you know, something positive that can bring more awareness. And I mean, it's an entire demographic that really could use more light and really could use a little bit more attention, just to show a little appreciation.
Well, sir, congratulations on all your success from Brian Gates. Wish you more success. Can't wait to start seeing you on the big screen too.
I'm working on it.
There you go. All right, now for sure. And of course, you know, we hope that Maurice's story moved you, motivated you, and reminded you that you got to just keep going no matter what.